less than 5 years away from seeing mammoths back on the planet.
Not if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
It is simply a function of time.
The dream of bringing the woolly mammoth back to life is no longer just science fiction. It's happening in real laboratories today. Using cloning, genome reconstruction, and advanced gene editing, scientists are working to revive this Ice Age giant and reintroduce its traits into modern elephants. The woolly mammoth has become the symbol of a new scientific frontier. De-extinction now inspires efforts to resurrect other long-lost creatures. In this video, we look at 20 extinct animals now being targeted for revival, whose the results leaves the world speechless. Number 20. The woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth, the crown jewel of Ice Age giants, once dominated the frozen tundras of Siberia and North America. Towering up to 13 feet and weighing as much as 6 tons, these majestic creatures were armored against the cold with thick, shaggy fur, a layer of insulating fat, and long curved tusks that could shovel snow aside in search of grass. For hundreds of thousands of years, they roamed vast landscapes, shaping ecosystems and leaving an indelible mark on the planet. Though we often think of mammoths as relics of a distant past, small populations survived well into recorded history. Some islands still sheltered these giants long after the pyramids were built. But eventually, climate change and human hunting wiped them out, leaving only fossils and fragments of DNA behind. Now, science is attempting what was once unimaginable, bringing them back to life. The challenge is immense. Mammoth DNA is too damaged to clone directly. So researchers are turning to their closest living relatives, the Asian elephants, and using advanced gene editing tools to insert mammoth traits. These include genes for long fur, extra fat layers, cold-adapted hemoglobin, and even the iconic tusk curvature. The result is not a perfect replica, but a hybrid engineered to look, behave, and survive like the ancient mammoth. Colossal Biosciences, the pioneering biotech company behind the effort, aims to grow the first of these hybrids by 2028, potentially using artificial wombs to bypass the long, risky elephant gestation. But the project isn't just about fascination or nostalgia. Scientists hope these revived herds could actively restore ecosystems, trampling snow, disturbing moss, and allowing grasses to flourish again. In effect, woolly mammoths could become living climate agents, helping to slow permafrost thaw and maintain tundra landscapes. The next animal was completely revived, but didn't stay alive for long. Number 19. The Pyrenean ibex. The Pyrenean ibex was more than just a mountain goat. It was a symbol of rugged resilience. Living in the craggy cliffs between France and Spain, these nimble creatures were perfectly adapted to their harsh, rocky world. But by the year 2000, the Pyrenean ibex had vanished forever, the last individual succumbing to the relentless pressures of hunting and habitat loss. Its disappearance marked a quiet tragedy, an echoing reminder of how fragile life can be, even for a species that once thrived in Europe's highlands. Yet science refused to accept finality. In 2003, researchers achieved what was once thought impossible. The Pyrenean ibex was brought back, even if only for a fleeting heartbeat. Through cloning techniques using preserved skin cells, a living ibex took its first steps into the world, reanimated after extinction. For a brief moment, hope glimmered, but life can be cruelly short. The newborn ibex collapsed and died within minutes due to lung defects. It was a poignant demonstration of both the possibilities and limitations of modern science. Resurrection was no longer just fantasy, but nature is unforgiving.
The ibex has in his heart a cross inside, a crossbone.
In the Middle Ages, people killed the ibex.
The story of the Pyrenean ibex raises profound questions. What does it mean to bring a species back, only to watch it falter? Can science perfect its methods, Or are we merely catching glimpses of a lost world without the wisdom to sustain it? Researchers continue refining techniques, using the ibex's fragile DNA as a blueprint. Perhaps one day the cliffs will echo with the sure-footed leaps of this remarkable mountain goat once again, but the journey has reminded humanity that revival is not merely about creation, but about survival. Number 18. Direwolf. The direwolf's return from extinction didn't happen by accident. It required cutting-edge science, millions of dollars, and DNA fragments preserved in Ice Age permafrost for over 10,000 years. Colossal biosciences extracted ancient DNA from direwolf bones found in the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, one of the richest fossil sites in North America. But ancient DNA is fragmented and degraded. Scientists couldn't simply clone a direwolf from scratch. Instead, they used CRISPR gene editing technology to modify the genome of gray wolves, the closest living relative, inserting key direwolf genes that controlled size, jaw structure, and muscle density. The process involved creating hybrid embryos and implanting them into gray wolf surrogates. After multiple failed attempts, the first viable direwolf pups were born in early 2025. These animals aren't perfect replicas of their ancient ancestors, but they're close enough. They carry roughly 85% authentic direwolf DNA, with the remaining 15% filled in by their gray wolf cousins.
Where scientists are using genes from gray wolves to create dire wolves.
But critics warn that de-extinction is a dangerous distraction from protecting species that still exist. Conservation biologist Dr. Stuart Pym has argued that resources spent resurrecting extinct animals could save dozens of endangered species today. And there's a deeper question. Just because we can bring something back, does that mean we should? The direwolf is here. Now we have to decide what to do with it. Number 17. The dodo. The dodo has long stood as the ultimate symbol of extinction, a flightless bird whose fate seemed sealed by human arrival on Mauritius. For centuries, it was painted as a clumsy, overweight creature, easy prey for sailors and invasive animals. But the reality was very different. In the wild, dodos were likely lean, agile, and perfectly adapted to their isolated island environment. The image of the dumb, fat bird is a product of overfed captive specimens sketched by bored European artists. Tragically, within just 80 years of its discovery, humans and the animals they introduced, rats, pigs, and monkeys, had wiped the species from existence. These invaders preyed on the dodo's eggs, which were laid on the ground and had no natural defenses. The dodo's disappearance not only marked the loss of a species, but also disrupted the island's ecosystem. The bird had played a vital role in spreading the seeds of rare trees like the tambalacoque, which struggled to survive without it. Now, scientists are rewriting the dodo's story. Researchers at Colossal Biosciences and the University of California, Santa Cruz, have sequenced its genome from DNA fragments recovered from centuries-old remains. By working with its closest living relative, the Nicobar pigeon, they aim to edit embryos that could hatch into a modern dodo hybrid. If successful, these birds could be released into protected habitats on Mauritius by 2080, restoring lost ecological relationships and reviving a piece of nature's history.
The dodo, the giant flightless bird that once lived in the forests of Mauritius. It became extinct about 400 years ago.
The revival of the dodo is more than a symbolic triumph. It represents the potential to repair ecosystems that have been damaged for centuries. Bringing back a species once lost to human impact offers both a scientific and ethical challenge, reminding us that extinction is not necessarily irreversible. Number 16. The passenger pigeon. Once, the skies of North America were filled with billions of passenger pigeons, forming flocks so immense they could darken the sun. These weren't city pigeons, nor timid birds. They were wild, fast, and fiercely social, moving in synchronized swarms that stretched for hundreds of miles. Their impact on the environment was enormous. As they nested, they could cover entire forests, breaking branches with their sheer weight, enriching the soil with nutrient-rich droppings, and scattering seeds across vast areas. In essence, the passenger pigeon was an ecological engineer. Yet, their survival strategy, living in enormous numbers, also made them vulnerable. Industrial-scale hunting in the 1800s, aided by telegraphs to track flocks and railroads to transport meat, devastated the population. Entire colonies were wiped out in weeks. By 1914, the last known passenger pigeon, a female named Martha, died alone in the Cincinnati Zoo, marking the end of a species that had once been inseparable from the forests themselves. Today, the passenger pigeon's story may have a second chapter. Scientists at Revive and Restore are reconstructing its genome using preserved museum specimens. By editing the DNA of its closest living relative, the band-tailed pigeon, they hope to create a hybrid capable of filling the ecological role left vacant for over a century.
Ben Novak leads a research team devoted to reviving the passenger pigeon, a bird that went extinct more than 100 years ago.
The aim isn't just to see a species return, it's to restore the lost dynamics of entire forests and reintroduce the natural processes that passenger pigeons once drove. Bringing back these flocks would be like reopening a long-closed chapter of North American wilderness, reminding us that extinction is not always final. But it also raises questions about responsibility, ecosystems, and the limits of human intervention. Can a bird, once wiped out by humans, safely reclaim its ancient skies? And if it can, what lessons might it teach us about the balance between nature and mankind? Number 15. The Tasmanian tiger. The thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger, was a creature of both mystery and fear. Striped like a tiger but a marsupial predator, it carried its young in a pouch and hunted across Tasmania and parts of mainland Australia for thousands of years. When humans arrived, however, its fortunes changed dramatically. Competing with dingoes on the mainland and targeted by European settlers in Tasmania for livestock losses, the thylacine was driven to extinction. By 1936, the last known individual, named Benjamin, died in a Hobart zoo, left outside in the cold because someone forgot to secure his enclosure. Despite its official disappearance, sightings persisted for decades, fueling tales of a ghostly predator moving silently through the Australian bush. Today, scientists are striving to make those stories reality. At the University of Melbourne, supported by colossal biosciences, researchers have sequenced the thylacine genome from preserved tissue and are exploring how to bring it back. Using a tiny living marsupial, the fat-tailed dunnart, as a surrogate, they aim to create embryos that could one day grow into thylacine pups.
Tasmanian tiger, easily distinguished by his straight, unjointed tail.
The effort goes beyond the laboratory. Scientists are also working to restore the thylacine's natural habitat, ensuring that if the species returns, it can thrive in the wild rather than simply exist in captivity. Imagine walking through the Tasmanian bush and hearing the call of a predator thought gone forever. A living link to an ecosystem lost but not entirely forgotten. The revival of the thylacine is not just a triumph of genetics. It is a profound reminder that extinction can sometimes be paused and that human ingenuity might offer a second chance to species we once erased. Number 14. Steller's sea cow. If you thought manatees were impressive, the Steller's sea cow was in a league of its own. This gentle giant, measuring up to 30 feet long and weighing 10 tons, grazed the cold waters around the Commander Islands near Alaska. Discovered in 1741 by German naturalist Georg Wilhelm Steller, the sea cow had thick, bark-like skin, no teeth, and rough plates for chewing kelp. Unlike most ocean creatures, it moved slowly, feeding in sweeping motions while floating in shallow waters alongside its family. Observers described them as intelligent, affectionate, and even protective of injured companions, a rare combination of size and social behavior. Tragically, humans drove the species to extinction in just 27 years. Its slow movements, inability to dive, and fatty blubber made it an easy target for hunting, providing food, oil, and leather. Yet, the loss of Steller's sea cow had ecological consequences far beyond its disappearance. These massive grazers kept kelp forests healthy, preventing overgrowth and sustaining fish populations. With their absence, the delicate balance of Arctic coastal ecosystems began to crumble, worsened by climate change and exploding sea urchin populations. Today, scientists are exploring ways to resurrect the sea cow, not merely for fascination, but to restore ecological stability. By studying its closest living relative, the dugong, and integrating ancient traits recovered from preserved bones, researchers hope to recreate an organism capable of performing the same ecological role. Number 13. The aurochs. Long before domestic cattle roamed farms, the wild aurochs reigned across Europe, Asia, and North Africa, towering over 6 feet at the shoulder. With long, forward-curving horns and a muscular frame, these massive beasts shaped the landscapes they inhabited. Their grazing kept forests open, trampling encouraged biodiversity, and their presence influenced entire ecosystems. Ancient humans domesticated some, but wild populations thrived until the 17th century. The last known aurochs died in a Polish forest in 1627, an event recorded with the solemnity of a royal death. Today, scientists and conservationists are working to bring the aurochs back through a process called backbreeding. By selectively breeding modern cattle that still carry strong genetic traits from their wild ancestors, projects across Europe, such as Taurus in the Netherlands and Urus in Germany, are gradually recreating animals that resemble the original in size, behavior, and appearance. Unlike cloning or gene editing, backbreeding uses living relatives to approximate the extinct species, offering a pragmatic approach to restoring wild landscapes. As these reconstructed aurochs roam European fields, they remind us that extinction is not always irreversible, and that humans, while often the cause of ecological loss, can also play a role in restoration. Number 12. The quagga. The quagga, a striking subspecies of the plains zebra, once roamed the grasslands of South Africa in massive herds.
Back of a charismatic animal that used to live in South Africa.
Its most distinctive feature was its half-striped body. Bold black and white stripes covered the front, while the rear was smooth and brown, resembling a horse. European settlers hunted the quagga relentlessly for meat, hides, and sport. By the late 1800s, the species had vanished from the wild, and the last known individual died in the Amsterdam Zoo in 1883, largely unnoticed at the time. For decades, scientists debated whether the quagga was a separate subspecies or just a variant of the common zebra. Modern genetics revealed it was indeed distinct, and today, efforts are underway to bring the quagga back through selective breeding. By analyzing zebra populations that carry a high percentage of quagga DNA, researchers aim to produce animals that resemble their extinct ancestor in appearance and behavior. The Quagga project in South Africa has already made significant progress. Fourth-generation animals now display fewer stripes, brown rear ends, and physical traits increasingly similar to the original quagga. Some of these reconstructed zebras have even been released into protected reserves, allowing them to roam wild and restore the lost ecological role of their forebears. Number 11. Ivory-billed woodpecker. Once called the Lord God bird for its striking beauty and rarity, the ivory-billed Pyrenean woodpecker was last widely seen in the 1940s across the swamps of the southeastern United States. Officially declared extinct by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in 2021, hope refuses to die. Some researchers still claim unconfirmed sightings and acoustic recordings, fueling a broader question: should we bring this ghost of the American wilderness back? Scientists have begun recovering and sequencing DNA from museum specimens, including feathers and preserved tissue. While the genetic material is degraded, advances in avian genome reconstruction make partial recovery possible. The greatest challenge isn't just the DNA, it's the loss of the old-growth cypress forests that once supported its life. Even if cloning or gene editing were successful, where could the resurrected birds live? Conservationists argue that before any revival can succeed, we must restore its vanished habitat and protect related species like the pileated woodpecker. For now, the ivory-billed remains both a mystery and a symbol, a haunting reminder of what was lost and what science still dares to reclaim. Number 10. The giant short-faced bear. Imagine a bear taller than a man, with jaws that could crush bone and claws built for power and speed. The giant short-faced bear, once roaming North America during the Ice Age, was an apex predator like no other. Standing up to 12 feet tall on its hind legs and capable of sprinting at astonishing speeds, it hunted alongside mammoths, giant sloths, and other colossal creatures. Fossils tell tales of sheer strength, of a predator that dominated the tundra and forests, shaping the landscape through fear and force. Today, this predator exists only in frozen remnants of the past. DNA fragments discovered in permafrost offer tantalizing glimpses into its genetic makeup. While no formal de-extinction project has yet begun, scientists imagine a future where the giant short-faced bear could stride across the wilds once more. But its resurrection raises profound questions. Would ecosystems still support such a colossal carnivore? Could it coexist with modern species? Or would its return ignite chaos? The story of the giant short-faced bear is a cautionary vision of power brought back to life. It challenges us to consider what it truly means to rewild a planet that has changed since the Ice Age. Its shadow looms large in both history and imagination, a creature that once inspired awe and terror, now standing at the threshold of scientific possibility. The bear's story asks, are we capable of restoring nature's giants responsibly, or are we merely playing with forces we do not yet fully understand? Number 9. The saber-toothed cat. The saber-toothed cat, or Smilodon, prowled the Ice Age plains with a lethal elegance. Its elongated canine teeth and muscular build made it a perfect ambush predator, capable of taking down mammoths, bison, and giant ground sloths.
Incredibly powerful forelimbs, it would pull down its prey before dispatching it with these terrifying teeth.
Fossils, frozen in time, reveal its strength, agility, and the vital role it played in shaping ecosystems. For thousands of years, this feline ruled North America's prehistoric landscapes. But as the Ice Age ended, climate change and the loss of large prey drove it to extinction. Its absence reshaped the balance of life, leaving a void in the predator hierarchy. Today, advances in genetics offer a tantalizing possibility. Could the saber-toothed cat walk the earth again? Scientists study preserved DNA, exploring cloning and hybrid techniques. Its revival would not be merely spectacle. It could restore lost ecological dynamics and offer a window into Ice Age life. Yet, the question remains, should we? Reintroducing such a predator into modern ecosystems would be fraught with risk, and coexistence with contemporary species is uncertain. The saber-toothed cat embodies both human curiosity and caution, a creature whose return challenges us to weigh ambition against responsibility. Number 8. The Irish elk. The Irish elk, a giant deer with antlers spanning up to 12 feet, once roamed Europe's forests and grasslands with unmatched grandeur. Its immense antlers were more than decoration. They signaled dominance, strength, and vitality, shaping social structures and survival. Despite its majesty, the elk could not withstand the changing climate and human pressures at the end of the Ice Age. It vanished, leaving fossils as silent witnesses to its once dominant presence. Modern scientists are studying ancient DNA to explore its revival. Bringing back the Irish elk could restore critical ecological functions. Its grazing patterns once influenced vegetation and supported biodiversity, and its presence could help rebuild landscapes altered by humans. Revival carries challenges. The elk would need vast habitats and careful management to thrive safely. Its return is not just about wonder, it is about understanding the delicate balance between species and environment. The Irish elk reminds us that nature's giants are both awe-inspiring and fragile, and resurrection must come with responsibility. Number 7. The MOA. Standing up to 12 feet tall, the moa was New Zealand's gentle giant, a flightless bird shaping forests and grasslands for centuries. As herbivores, they maintained plant diversity and supported predator-prey balance, creating ecosystems unique to the islands. When Polynesian settlers arrived, overhunting and egg collection wiped out the moa, leaving the land forever altered. Its absence disrupted food chains and ecological patterns, a reminder of human impact. Scientists now explore ways to revive the moa using bones and eggshell DNA. Its return would not only resurrect a lost species, but could help restore New Zealand's fragile ecosystems, bringing balance back to habitats transformed by centuries of change. Yet, the task is complex. DNA degradation, habitat loss, and ecological adjustments make revival a careful challenge. The moa's story is one of both loss and hope, a chance to reconnect with a vanished world. Reintroducing it would honor evolutionary history while teaching humans about responsibility in the stewardship of life. Number 6. The Haast's eagle. The Haast's eagle, New Zealand's largest eagle, was a predator unmatched in its domain. With a wingspan over 9 feet and talons capable of crushing prey, it hunted giant moa, shaping their behavior and controlling populations. For centuries, it maintained balance within a unique ecosystem. When humans arrived, both the moa and the Haast's eagle faced extinction.
And we know that they predated moa, one of the largest birds that ever lived.
The loss of its primary prey doomed the eagle, and by the 1400s, it vanished, leaving the skies silent. Today, scientists envision reviving not only the moa, but also the Haast's eagle, restoring a predator-prey relationship lost for centuries. Its revival could help rebuild ecological dynamics and bring back a piece of prehistoric New Zealand. Yet the challenge is immense. The eagle's size, predatory nature, and habitat needs pose ethical and ecological questions. Could it coexist with modern species, or would it disrupt current ecosystems? The Haast's eagle reminds us that resurrection is not just about science. It is about responsibility, understanding, and respect for the intricate web of life we seek to repair. Number 5. The Carolina parakeet. Once, the skies of the southeastern United States were alive with flashes of green, yellow, and orange. The brilliant plumage of the Carolina parakeet, the only parrot native to North America, it thrived in forests, swamps, and river valleys, a vibrant thread in the region's ecological fabric. But habitat destruction, hunting, and the exotic pet trade wiped it from existence by the early 20th century. Now, scientists hope to bring back this colorful bird using DNA from preserved specimens. Beyond beauty, the Carolina parakeet played a vital role in spreading seeds, shaping the forests it called home. Its revival could restore ecological balance and reconnect North America with a lost piece of its natural heritage. The story of the Carolina parakeet is a testament to both loss and possibility. Its return would paint the skies once more, but it also asks hard questions. How do we restore a species in a world transformed by humans? Reviving this forgotten rainbow is as much about ethics as genetics, a delicate dance between hope and responsibility. Number 4. The great elephant bird. Madagascar was once home to a giant unlike any other, the great elephant bird. Towering up to 10 feet and weighing half a ton, This flightless titan dominated the island's forests, its massive eggs a marvel of nature. It was a symbol of island gigantism, a creature that shaped vegetation, dispersed seeds, and maintained the delicate balance of its ecosystem. By the 1600s, humans had hunted it to extinction, and its colossal presence vanished from the island. Today, only bones and ancient eggshells remain, offering glimpses into its lost world. Scientists are now exploring ways to revive the great elephant bird using DNA extracted from these remnants. Restoring such a colossal bird is more than a technical challenge. It is a chance to reconnect with a vanished ecosystem. Its revival could shed light on evolution, island ecology, and the extraordinary creatures that once walked and dominated our planet. The great elephant bird stands as a reminder that some losses are vast, but science may yet allow us to bridge centuries and bring titans back into the living world. Number 3. The Heath hen. The Heath hen once dotted the open fields and forests of the northeastern United States. Small but striking, it was a cousin of the prairie chicken, filling its niche in local ecosystems by dispersing seeds and supporting predator populations. By 1932, the last Heath hen had died, leaving behind only stories, feathers, and museum specimens. Today, it is one of the first species targeted for de-extinction, not just for curiosity, but for ecosystem restoration. Scientists hope that reviving the Heath hen could bring life back to the habitats it once maintained, creating a ripple effect that benefits countless other species. Its story is a testament to the fragility of life and the potential of science to correct past mistakes. The Heath hen reminds humanity that extinction is not always final, but resurrection carries responsibility. In reviving it, we honor not just a single bird, but the intricate web of life that depends on every thread. Number 2. The gastric-brooding frog. The gastric-brooding frog was one of nature's most extraordinary inventions.
Gastric-brooding frog refers to a genus of 2 different species of frog.
Native to Australia, it possessed a unique and astonishing ability. It could swallow its eggs, brood them in its stomach, and give birth through its mouth. This biological marvel defied every expectation, a fragile yet ingenious solution to survival. Sadly, habitat destruction, pollution, and disease drove it to extinction by the 1980s. Today, scientists are attempting something almost as miraculous as the frog itself, bringing it back from the dead. Using preserved cells and advanced genome editing, researchers have partially reactivated its genetic blueprint, demonstrating that even seemingly irreversible extinctions can be challenged. The frog's potential revival is not merely about wonder. It could restore unique ecological functions. Amphibians play critical roles in controlling insect populations and maintaining wetland health, and reintroducing a species as unique as the gastric-brooding frog could have far-reaching effects. Its story is both a triumph of curiosity and a warning. Resurrection biology is possible, but the fragility of life remains. The gastric-brooding frog symbolizes hope and humility, teaching us that extinction is not always forever. Yet revival demands patience, precision, and respect for the delicate web of life. Number 1. The steppe bison. The steppe bison once roamed the vast tundras of Siberia and Europe.
The European bison, a gentle giant that for millennia roamed the forests and grasslands of Europe.
A colossal grazer shaping the landscape with its massive herds. Its presence influenced vegetation, predator behavior, and the rhythms of Ice Age ecosystems. Frozen specimens preserved in permafrost have given modern scientists a remarkable opportunity. DNA that could bring this ancient grazer back to life. Cloning and genetic engineering projects aim to resurrect the steppe bison, restoring a keystone species that could help rebalance ecosystems long changed by humans. Its revival is more than nostalgia. It is ecological restoration, a chance to reintroduce a species that once helped maintain grasslands and support biodiversity. The steppe bison's return would be a living bridge to the Ice Age, a chance to witness history and nature intertwined once again. As science now gives us the amazing ability to bring back creatures that vanished centuries or millennia ago, with each resurrection comes profound responsibility. Bringing back a species is not a simple triumph. It reshapes ecosystems, challenges ethics, and demands long-term stewardship. Are we repairing the damage we caused, or imposing our will on a natural order we barely understand? The questions are as haunting as they are urgent. De-extinction forces us to confront our relationship with nature, weighing curiosity, conservation, and conscience. Science offers a second chance, and with it comes the weight of wisdom. The question lingers: if we can bring them back, should we? The answer may define not only the future of these species, but the legacy of humanity itself. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.